Hello there. Welcome to SmartGence training. So this video is basically about the list views. So list views is the ones which you are right now seeing in the screen. So here you can see this recently viewed, right? So this basically a list view. So which should retrieve a few data from that particular object. So basically when you click on this particular drop down, you would be able to see a few more list views which are already available in the system. So what is list views? As I have said, list view is actually is used to get a glimpse of the object. Like we can see a particular segment of the data, even though it is not very detailed. You can see a few fields being pulled into a few filters being put. So if all the records which satisfy those filters would be displayed with the fields which we have defined earlier. So that is what basically list view is. So this actually is an easy way to access the data. How? So as I have said earlier, we can put out the filters, right? So we can define the parameters of the records which has to be displayed. So by that way, we can easily access the required data which meets the parameters. And this again is basically similar to report. So in reports, what we'll be doing is we'll be putting out the filters. So based on that filters, users will, sorry, I mean the records will be retrieved, correct? And we would also be defined what are the fields which we want to see in that particular report. So again, here even in the list views, we will be able to see we will be able to define the fields which we have to display in the list view. So basically, it is more or less similar to reports. So when and where this list view being used? For example, let's say if you want to have the list of all the contacts where the contact state, so state is a field in contact, right? So where the state is equal to California. Similarly, if you want a list of all the opportunities where the opportunity stage field is equal to 1. And if we need, let's say if we need a list of all the accounts where the industry is not equal to non-profit but is equal to the other values. So in all these examples, we can create a new list view which would retrieve the data which are specific to these filters defined over here. So there are a few actions in the list view, in addition to the table view, we can also have a chart view, which basically is more of a pie chart or the bar chart, and we can have two different views like Kanban views and split views. So we will look into this in detail in the demo session because that would be more helpful instead of providing you definition over here. Then we can define the sharing setting as well. So whether this particular list view has to be shared to all users or only to ourselves or to a group of users. So all those settings could be defined. And as discussed earlier, we can define the filter conditions, also the list of fields to be displayed in this list view. And finally, we can create a new list view, rename the list view, and even delete the list view. So a quick fact, that we know that we can pull out the columns into a list view, right? So the maximum number of columns that can be pulled out is 50. Right. Let us now have a quick demonstration on list view actions. So firstly, we have to navigate to a tab, right? So I'm right now navigating to accounts tab. And if you remember in the presentation, we said that when we click on this little drop down button, you'll be able to see all the existing list views. So this is how it would look like. Let's start with creating a new list view. We'll take the scenario which we have seen in the presentation. So all accounts whose industry is not equal to non-profit, correct? So let's create that list view. So for that, we have to click on this button, which is the list view controls, and we have to click on this new. So we can provide the list name. I'm going to provide the list name as industry accounts, something like that, right? Then the API name will get automatically populated, which is the unique name, and this is the sharing setting we have been talking about. So this basically is this will be self-explanatory, right? So if we want only us to see, then we can have this radio button selected. If you want all the users, then we can select this radio button. If you want this particular issue to be shared with a group of users, then we can select this. When we select this, we'll be able to share it based on role. So if we select CEO, users in the organization with the role as CEO, all the users in the organization with role as CEO would be able to see this particular list view. So now I'll have this as only I can see. Then I'm going to click on save. So when I save this, this is, I mean, you'll be able to see this list view being created, right? So, right. So this is the table view, correct? Then, if you remember in the quick list view actions, we have seen there are a few more views as well, right? I mean, in addition to the table view, you will be able to see it in different formats as well. So, firstly, charts, correct? So, charts can be viewed using this little button, show chart. So, when we click on that, it will open this pane, which would show the pie chart based on this accounts by industry, right? Then we have the Kanban view and split view. So firstly, Kanban view is basically a grouping, correct? So when I select this, yeah, we will be able to summarize the view based on one of the fields like annual revenue. Then we can group it. So this basically is I mean grouping of data, right? So I am going to select the data to be grouped by active field. So when I click on save, again this is not a compulsory field, so we can have this as null as well. So I'm going to put it as null for now. So when I save this, you will be able to see the data being grouped based on that particular active field. So if active field is yes, if active field is no, if there is no value in the active field. So this is what Kanban view is. Then comes the split view, right? So split view is basically is there will be a separate pane where you'll be able to see the a little view of the records. So when you click on one of the records to the right, you'll be able to see the detailed page. So that is what split view basically is. Now let me come back to the table view. So the other actions we have been discussing in the presentation are you'll be able to see it over here in the list view control. So you'll be able to clone a view, rename a view. Like when we click on rename, we'll be having this this particular window open. So you can rename it over here. Then we'll be able to have the sharing setting, like edit the sharing setting again by clicking on this link. So again, this window would be open, so you can edit it over here. Then the next action would be of that the two basic options we have been talking about is one is filter and the other is select the feeds to be displayed, right? So firstly, filters can be navigated through two ways. Firstly using this edit list filters button, if not using this small button which is a filter icon, right? So here, so firstly there will be a standard filter. Basically you would be able to filter the records by owner. So you can select all accounts or my accounts. What is my accounts is the accounts created by you where you would be the owner of that particular record. So now I'll select all accounts. Then when I'm clicking on done, then we can add filter using this hyperlink. So if you remember, the filter we need to add is industry not equal to not to profit, not for profit. So when I select this, yeah, here, and when I click on done, you'll be able to see the filter over here, industry not equal to not for profit. So when I save this, you'll be able to, yeah, you'd get this small message and you'll be able to see the records updated accordingly. Then the last item is this select fields to display, right? So when I click on this, you'll be getting this screen where you can select the fields to be displayed in the list view. So now I'll add this active, maybe annual revenue. I would also include the industry to see the industry. Here it is industry. So I have selected three different I'm sorry, I think yeah, active, annual revenue and industry. I have selected three and I'm going to add this. But once save, you'll be able to see these three fields added over here. So also, if you remember, there is we would also be able to delete the list view. So here is the delete option for deleting the list view. So yeah, this is it about the list view actions. Thank you and happy learning.